I think that before I met Ed, I think my experience of disability was entirely different from after I knew him, and especially after I got to know him a little bit. Before I met him, my son was really disabled, and the schools in Minneapolis had a segregated school for disabled kids, and then within that school they had a separate room for kids who were really, really, really disabled, right? And that's where they sent Charlie to go to school. It was 45 minutes from my house on a school bus for a little guy who couldn't see very well, couldn't speak, and couldn't walk. So 45 minutes to school and 45 minutes back to be in a room with the 5 other most disabled children in the city of Minneapolis. Okay, so, I mean, I'm a pretty well-educated person, and I went to the school and I observed what was happening. And Charlie, one thing he always had going for him, 2 things. He had this beautiful blonde hair, and he had a great smile. And after he went to that school, he started to come home, he would smile kind of crooked and funny. And I thought, gosh, I wonder if something's going on with his muscles, or why is he smiling that way? And I went to school and observed that he would stand in these little standers next to this other little guy who had cerebral palsy, who smiled like that in that funny crooked way. Charlie was learning that from the other guy. And that didn't seem right to me. It was like, well, wait a minute now. If my kid who is this disabled is able in a couple of weeks to learn how to smile that way from the kid next to him, what might he be learning if he was in a classroom with kids who weren't disabled? And he's 5. I mean, why does he have to be in a completely separate place? I went and asked that question of the teacher, gee, can't he go to a school near my house where he could be with other kids who are developing typically like his brothers? And she handed me this application to Partners in Policymaking. She actually handed me the front side of a Xerox copy of it because she forgot to copy the back. And she said, fill this out, don't tell anybody I gave it to you because I'll get fired. That was my experience of what disability was like. It was like this secret club and secret handshakes, and everybody had this big theory about what was wrong and what should be done with Charlie, none of which made any sense to me as his mom. It just didn't make sense. And then when I heard Ed and when I met Ed, I realized that the reason it didn't make sense is that it wasn't addressing the real issue, which was, yeah, Charlie's very different from other people. He's very different from other disabled people. And what do we do about that? And how can we give him the same shot at having a decent life that everybody else has? It's a different world. When you look at it through the filter that it's not about pity, but it's about rights, and when you look at it through the filter that your feelings and your approach and your dignity really matter, then it changes.